for today's live bridge. Or I think we're now live, Gavin. We're live today for our live bridge event. You and I are going to be broadcasting the finals of a pretty prestigious online event with some good teams playing. We're going to get to see some really good bridge in about 30 minutes. But before that time, Gavin, you and I are going to chat about some of these hands together and preview some of the decisions that are going to be on these pros' fingertips throughout this event here.
Yeah, definitely. So first, let's just talk about what this event is. This is the Alt Elevator. It is a really cool modern format that, when you're online, you can change formats, you can try new things, and Alt is kind of good at that. That's what one of their best features is. They're willing to try new things, and so this event, basically, it's a 30-team event. It was open to as many teams that wanted to enter, and over the course of the week, they've had kind of groups. I see we have a guest that ready to join us in one moment here. But we can bring him in but I want to finish saying what I'm going to say about the event. Geoff Hampson is about to join us here in 1 second. And so basically over the course of the week, these 30 teams have played Swiss teams, and they've been divided up into groups A, group B, and group C. And every few matches, some teams move up and down, up to group A, down to group B, and there he is. Anyway, and today is the last day of the event. So there are actually 3 separate groups playing the finals today. There's going to be a Group A winner, there's going to be a Group B winner, and a Group C winner. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to follow along a feature. We're going to pick a match to watch from one of the groups, and which we don't really know yet who's going to be playing who, because it is a Swiss teams.
We're flying as blind as the rest of you guys are. We have no idea who we'll be viewing, except for probably a pretty good team. And Geoff Hampson, welcome, and thanks for getting up early out there in Vegas for this event here, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good. Good to see you guys.
So, Geoff, I did some research. I wanted to give you a good intro when you came on, and I went and I looked up your wins and your over the course of your career, and it's pretty mind blowing, honestly. Like I knew you, obviously I know you as my, from competing against you and from growing up in Toronto and everything, but it's staggering. You've won 22 national championships. That is an unbelievable number.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Did you know that number, Geoff, or is that surprising to you?
I would have guessed in that range, but I did not know. No.
That is it's remarkable, and I saw that you also have that. You won that. I vividly remember you winning the Rosenblum in Philadelphia, and also what I don't remember is the transnational teams that you won on Malcolm Brackman's team in 2001. Anyway, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, so we're lucky to have you here. What we're doing today is we're going through the hands. We have access to today's hands before the players actually play them, because one of the problems that with normal view graph is the commentators are kind of looking and figuring out the hands on the spot, and it's a very difficult process. You're looking at all 4 hands and you're trying to go through it while the players are playing. So instead, what we're doing now is we're going to go through some of the hands before the set starts. So that way, once the bridge starts, everybody will kind of know what to look for and what to expect when the hands are actually being played out.
And the first question is kind of upon us here for the first board that everyone's going to see, Geoff, is what would you do as the West player here? If you can see this hand, it's pass a diamond to you.
I mean, I think I'd bid a spade.
Yeah. We've been normally saying that basically when you're 5-4 in the majors, you're usually going to want to make to overcall because if you don't, you're going to lose the 5-3 spade fit. Now, I asked this hand, I gave Weinstein this hand a little bit earlier today, and he said this is the one situation where he actually would consider making a takeout double with a 5-card major, with partner being a passed hand. And
we'll see if Bobby 11 agrees with him later on today.
Yeah, right. We can. Yeah. So what do you think of a takeout double compared to a spade?
I mean, I think the hand lacks the values of a normal takeout double, and I don't really want to start battling a partial in clubs. So I think 1 spade, and if partner wants to introduce hearts, I have a happy raise. If partner wants to introduce clubs, I have a useful dummy, and I don't mind competing in my 5-card suit here. And if it's a lead problem, it's going to be bad.
And just to be clear, for those of you watching that are kind of an advancing bridge player, this is not usually a suit we're proud of overcalling, but the shape on this hand is just so terrific, and the auction has gotten us to a point where it's kind of important that we get in there and at least start the conversation, if it's possible, that we might be playing this hand. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, I feel like this is a hand where you might want to play 3 spades when they got to 3 diamonds.
Sure.
You might want to play 3 hearts also, but you really only, I just feel like when you double, make a takeout double at the 1 level, your partner expects you to have an opening hand. And this is not even close.
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely. But even if you had the king of spades on top of this hand, you would now have an opening bid, but you would still overcall a spade because you'd be worried about losing that 5-3 spade fit. Does that sound about
It
right?
would. If I'd say the only thing that you could do to this hand to make it a hand that I would want to double with is add the king of hearts instead of the king of spades. Then I'd be treating the hand like a 4x1.
Okay. Yeah, so we have some questions, by the way. So if you're watching this through Bridge Winners or on Bridge Base, the only way that we're going to really be able to interact with you is through the YouTube chat. Bridge Winners is not built to handle live chat. So comments, we're not going to be refreshing and seeing the comments there. And Bridge Base, it's the same idea. So if you want to talk to our guests or discuss the hands, please do it through the YouTube. You can just click the little button at the bottom of the video, and that should send you through to the right page. And we have a question from somebody that from Josh. Saying,
about that bridge itself.
it's not about the bridge, but it's how are we ensuring that none of the competitors are watching these hands and getting a heads up? And we are going on faith alone. Alt has from day one allowed kibitzers start for all their events. So if the players really want to see the hands, they can go and look at other tables and look. It's all on an honor system, and so that's it. I mean, so yeah, if you are a competitor, please stop watching because we are going through the hands you're about to play.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, please. Spoiler alert for your match later on. So be careful.
But so just to look at this actual hand, aside from that 1 level overcall decision, what's really this hand is north south actually can make 6 diamonds on this hand. When you look at the losers, they're going to lose a club, and they have a slow heart loser. But that's going to go away with the ace of spades discarding a 3rd heart from north. And so 6 diamonds needs no finesses. It's a great contract, but very, very difficult to bid. Now, one thing when I was looking at the hand I thought might make it easier to bid is if East-West do bid and raise spades. Now, and in the middle of that, if North shows their diamond fit, South is going to know their partner actually has a singleton spade and know that they're actually reasonably close to making slam. So it'll be interesting. It's possible that the opponents getting involved in the auction might actually help North-South get to slam. Do you think that it would be? What do you think, Geoff? Do you think there's after, let's say it starts a diamond and they do overcall a spade? I guess it's hard to know what North-South's methods will be about how many diamonds that they will bid.
Let's just discuss how would you guys treat this hand? Would you treat this as more of a garden variety raise, or would you try to be aggressive with this? Like as far as like how do you evaluate this hand after a diamond of spade to you?
5 good trumps and non-vulnerable is usually a hand I'd like to be aggressive with when supporting partner. So if I win a diamond of spade, I would either make a limit raise or a mixed raise, depending on my partnership style.
Gotcha.
And that would be dependent on what my system was for each. 3 diamonds as a mixed raise feels like an underbid, but if you're devaluing the king of spades, which you might think to do when the opponents bid the suit, then that might be what the hand is worth. But if South sees North supporting diamonds vigorously, and I'm going to guess that East would double, which would probably suggest a spade raise, South is going to say, wow, I have very few losers opposite a 1-card spade holding, right? I have a good fit in diamonds. I don't have 4 hearts in the dummy. This hand is going to be a very exciting, a promising hand for slam potential.
So pretty well with this short club, ace jack 5th of diamonds opposite that cubid raise over there. That's not too shabby, right?
Right, and the knowledge that when North does not make a negative double of 1 spade, they should never have more than 4 hearts with a hand worthy of bidding.
Sure.
So that means all I need to do is find a parking place for either one heart from the north hand or one heart from the south hand. And now I'm running out of losers. Like if the dummy had, say, king fifth of diamonds and king queen fourth of clubs, even king queen third of clubs, and I could get rid of my heart on the dummy's club. I may have 0 or 1 spade losers, no diamond losers. I might easily make a slam or certainly a game. So I think South is going to be reasonably vigorous with this hand. Maybe they'll start with like a redouble here just to see something from partner.
Right.
That's if they catch that 2 spade bid from partner. It's not that is far from clear to show a limit raise with that hand.
Right.
The one thing that scares me about showing a limit raise with that hand is you don't really want to get to 3-no trump if partner's got a good balanced 14 count. You're being pretty aggressive. You'd much probably, if you knew partner had 14 balanced, I would think you'd probably just want to settle in three diamonds, right? Or, I mean, it's
I don't
only
know. Let's assign partner hands. Let's say that partner had like, I don't know, ace third of spades, ace queen third of hearts, ace fourth of diamonds. That's 14 and nothing in clubs. I'd have 8 top winners and a finesse in hearts, or maybe just come up with another trick somewhere for a 9. If partner had like queen jack third of spades and ace king third of hearts, now we're getting a lot closer to a 9 trick game.
Yeah, well, certainly queen jack third of spades is about as good of a holding as you could hope for. That's
and also
great use of 3 points. So,
yeah.
If South is playing no trump, it's pretty clear they're going to make it on this hand most likely, unless they get really inspired on opening lead by West, right?
Yeah, that would be. I mean, you know, it wouldn't be the most heroic thing ever to lay down the ace of clubs, but you certainly feel like you'd be leading spades or hearts before you'd be making
the alternatives are there to make it like, you know. Okay. All right, and this this will be interesting to see how high and or how low this goes, basically, and what the decisions are, not only with West initially, but also with how North treats that hand. Just a quick question, Geoff, you mentioned mixed raise possibilities here. Would you guys play 1 banana 3 as mixed in competition?
In a lot of my partnerships, yes. In my partnership with Greco, because the diamond is artificial, the diamond raises require a lot of trumps.
Understood. Gotcha.
Yeah, I just answered that same question. I play 2 diamonds as natural and non-forcing, like a normal 2 diamond
like a normal
bid.
Raise.
But I also, with my partner Warren, we play 3 diamonds is also a mixed raise. We just find it's more effective to be preempting there with the mixed raise than it is to preempt with the weak hand. So we kind of have 2 ways to make the same raise.
And it gives partner a lot more leeway with those kind of intermediate good hands that they have that they're not sure what to do with, opposite like a preemptive raise in that spot. That's the
well, and taking up space with a probably the most common fitting hand has a lot of value. Yeah. So the 3 diamond bid as a mixed bid is going to come up a lot more often than the 3 diamond bid weak. And it's going to take up space on hands where you have some values. So the opponents have some peril if they're going to make an aggressive raise to the 3 level. You know, when you've got 9 points facing 17, like if East did something, call it risky, like bid 3 spades, South could double this and collect a very large penalty.
Yeah.
So, you know, it does add a little bit more risk to the 3 level actions that the competitors have to come up with, which I think that has a lot of value.
And this will be a really fun hand to kind of start with today. But Gavin, why don't we take a look at some of the other ones?
It could start differently. I mean, I wonder if you play it, could you open a weak 2 diamonds with the North hand?
In the North hand, yeah. Yeah, the first thing in third chair, that might be a real consideration with that hand, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's possible that one team might be drastically better than the other, and if that was the case, maybe North would want to try and create some volatility by throwing even a 3 diamond bid out there. White red, I could say, if I didn't play weak 2 diamonds, I might open that 3 diamonds white red.
That's my
white first board, probably not my style. Yeah, right. That's a good gambling style. I think, you know, if you're at a disadvantage, doing things that create volatility, generate swings, has a lot of merit.
Absolutely. I mean, from playing a lot of poker, has a lot of merit as well. Like taking some interesting positions. So Gavin, this one is just going to start a no trump. South is just going to pass, and it's going to be up to West as far as what they do with this hand. How do you guys handle these situations where you have this marginal 5-4s in the majors?
Well, I think the West hand is worth a distributional game invitation, but not a high card game invitation. So if you bid Stamen and you heard your partner show a major, your hand would be worth an invitation. If you heard them bid 2 diamonds, your hand would be worth a 2 spades sign off, where especially if that suggested the potential for game.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you do start with Stamen, North's going to double.
Yeah. Yeah. North is going to show this very nice source of tricks. So you doing okay over there, Gavin?
Well, so they're saying that they didn't realize that we were going to be going over the hands before the boards, and they're a little worried that players are going to be popping on here without realizing that we're going over the boards.
So maybe we should have a more general conversation.
Yeah, that's what. So let's pull down
All right,
the
so
hand.
let's pull down the hand and let's just let's blast us out a little bit further.
Well,
here.
we do have a few things to ask Geoff about. Geoff, you couple things. First of all, 2 days ago they announced that the U.S. team trials are going to be played. We already knew that it was going to be the first phase was going to be played on Real Bridge, and then when we come down to the final 8 teams that we're going to that was at the point we were going to start playing live in Chicago. But they announced a couple days ago that we will be using tablets to play. What do you think about it? What do you think about that?
I mean, through the ages, Bridge has endured changes that at the time were not welcome. I remember when I was a kid where they introduced the negative double and everybody was like, well, that's just terrible. And how can you play double as takeout there? That's just disastrous. What do you do with a penalty double? Nope, there was growing pains. And then they introduced the bidding box and everybody hated the bidding boxes because they would fumble around. They couldn't put them together. If you were at a tournament, you'd see people struggling to assemble their bidding box or get the bids in the right parts. And they hated it. And then over time, if I was playing Rubber Bridge 30 years ago, 35 years ago, with 80-year-old players, after maybe a year playing with bidding boxes, they all knew what to do. They all understood. Nobody ever asks for a review.
And they all
the bids are right there. Eventually. Exactly. So the adjustments were welcomed eventually, but with change comes concern. I don't feel like Bridge is a game where you don't hold cards and you don't sit with your opponents. To me, that's one of the beautiful things about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just being stodgy. I think.
Well, it's so
a
funny,
world
Geoff.
Where we need to adapt.
I didn't realize how much we shared as far as our Bridge history, because I remember all of these things, being introduced in an ACBL score or even like other computer scoring programs, whereas you weren't sitting there till 1 a.m. trying to figure out a half-point miss on your recap. It's just
right.
Just all of these things will be met with resistance in general, and I think for this generation, the generation that grew up playing cards together, having cards and being at the table will always be part of the game. I think maybe the newer generation, it would be a little different, but who knows?
The thing that bothered me and bothers me still a little bit about the idea of using tablets is specifically the event that we're playing in. Like it's one thing to start using tablets at a regional or at the club or in just wherever, but coming to play in the trials for the national championship does not seem like an appropriate place to be first time going through. You wouldn't introduce bidding boxes at the world, at the World Championship. You'd introduce them at a local level and then get people used to them and then say, okay, I mean, maybe that's a bad example.
You're forgetting about like the infrastructure requirement. I actually am a person that bought 14 tablets and have Love Bridge loaded on all of them so I can mess around with it. And I think it is the future of Bridge, but I also recently played Bridge at a table with cards, and I honestly have a really hard time imagining not holding a hand of cards, and
yeah, I feel like processing Bridge for my brain requires the holding of cards.
Much easier
but me. Yeah, but I've been adapting. I mean, playing Bridge online, for me, Bridge online was something I did for practice, something I did for leisure. It was never something I did that I considered important or competitive, but that's changed. Yeah. With this new world that we live in, we have to adapt. And if this provides security from cheating and security from the coronavirus, then, you know, these are changes that are probably worth making. And, you know, I'm sure that the world would have loved to introduce tablet bridge at the regional and sectional and club level, except that those haven't existed for the last 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we're going to make changes that are good for the game and good for humankind, then they have to be where we can make them.
And the one thing that we kind of touched on earlier that's worth mentioning again here is there's resistance to change, and for a long time, a lot of people resisted to learning bridge online. In fact, very few people did. And I can't tell you, Gavin, I know you've heard the same, how many people have come up to me and said, learning bridge online has changed my view of the game, and it's changed my skill level more quickly than ever, than I could ever have imagined, you know, because they get so much, they can get so many mental reps in such a shorter period of time without leaving their home. You know, I think that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. I know from the same thing happened in poker, where obviously when online poker became a huge thing,
For sure.
you know, not only just the ability to play many hands, but also in poker, we also had the ability to bring all the hands into a database and start really looking into our game and figuring out, like, okay, which hands am I overplaying? Which hands are I underplaying? I'm still hoping something like that gets developed for bridge. That would be pretty amazing if you could take your hand histories and kind of know, okay, you're bidding too many slams, or you're opening, you're doing badly when you're opening 10 counts. Like, sometimes I wish my teammates would get to be able to see their total results on their aggressive opening bids.
We need a Moneyball bridge. That's what we need. We need to get on that. I'm sure there's a statistician out there thinking about this right now. Call us.
Well, but so suddenly you then have the ability to accumulate data on other people that normally you'd have to experience at the table. So suddenly you have a computer that is telling you the frequency with which North opens 3 diamonds in first seat non-vulnerable on board 1, like you saw, includes a lot of 5-card suits. And, you know, suddenly you can be passing your partner's reopening double on, you know, Jack 8 4th and out.
Yeah.
Are you saying that's a bad thing, or it's a good thing?
I think it's a bad thing. I think that I feel like you should not. Well, I mean, at some point, if you let computers do all of your analytics, then it's not you. It's just who has the best technology.
Well, and you're depriving yourself of that feel. Also, I think poker in person is the same, and as bridges, it's just, you know, your marks when you've had enough time to spend with them and observe. I think. Right,
and at the table decisions in poker, you cannot have a database of, like, an endless database of hand histories from other people, even from hands that you weren't even present. You could just data mine, you know, poker hands forever, and suddenly you know everything you need to know about a poker player without having played one hand against them, and that feels wrong.
So I didn't realize that you could data mine hands that you weren't played. Like, for at least for my poker database, I was just sucking in the hands from my table and putting it in. I didn't realize that people
they had books on people you could pay money for. You could pay like a certain amount for like a book of, you know, that level player or something like that.
It feels to me like that kind of software would go a long way for making people better bridge players. You're right, maybe it could be abused to the point where you start knowing other people very well, but I would definitely like to know my success rate when I'm upgrading 14 counts, when I'm opening one no with 6-card minors. Like I've been like, even just in
what we're talking about is a solution that Tablet Bridge would generate.
Provide. Right? It makes it possible.
You would now be able to go in there and say, okay, put this into whatever program I've designed to handle these decisions that I've made over these last several months or something, and crunch it out, right? You cannot do that.
Yeah, now. I mean, if you can look at the outcomes of, say, similar or analogous situations over a long history of your own play, you could definitely improve your game.
Yeah, you could find it's just easily, I'm sure.
Exactly. It's just doing it the hard way, having to learn from your mistakes, or like, I do know that, you know, one of the things that helps me get better as a player is that some of the time when something goes poorly for me, I do say to myself, I wonder if what looked like a completely normal action is just not a winner in the long run. So, you know, questioning yourself and questioning your actions is part of improving.
Do you ever go the extra step with that, Geoff? Do you pop it into a Monte Carlo or something and crunch it out, or what?
I mean, I don't have any way of simulating outcomes. I do sometimes. I'd say the extent to which I will investigate an action is I'll ask the people that I respect,
Yeah.
how automatic do you think this action is? And if they say completely clear, and I say, okay, because this doesn't feel like it's working out that well. I feel like it should work, but it doesn't.
Right.
Like I see people who open, as an example, people open 4 spades on, let's say, ace, king, queen, jack, 7th of spades, 2-2-2. And for me, this is not a 4-spade opening typically. But a lot of the time, the people who are doing this are putting me in really bad spots. And, some of the time you're in a bad spot, you make bad decisions or ineffective decisions. So then I start to wonder, well, maybe I should be one of these people. And then, so suddenly I think, okay, well, it works so well against me, I'm going to start using it. So I use it, and suddenly I'm going minus in 4 spades when we make 3-0, or I'm going, going for 500 when my partner bids 5 spades when they make nothing.
It's hard to know whether you're just running bad or if it truly is a bad decision, right? Sometimes, especially
exactly, because the sample size can't be that big.
Yeah, right. It can never be that big, right? Because we're not seeing this hand enough to get enough kind of information out of our choice, basically.
I mean, that's part of, to me, that's a lot of the game, is being intuitive to being able to process that stuff and really just decide whether you should be doing things. That's experience. I mean, knowing we've all gone through phases of aggressive preempts or passive preempts, and you don't know for sure. You just you got to get a sense for how things are going and adjust. I think that you can't go outside of your characters. Like, if you're going to force yourself to open 4 spades on hands that you internally disagree with so much, that can't be the right way to go. I mean,
but I mean, when your brain starts sort of shifting, you're like, yes, playing the style that fits your nature and your personality is important, because not everybody is an open the 10-point hand person, and not everybody is a pass the 12-point hand person. So go with what works for you. But when you have experience that sort of has you shifting, thinking, oh, maybe this is better, let's try this, and then suddenly you try this and it's like, nope, that's not better either.
Well, what you mentioned too, you just have unknown benefits, like you're talking about, the pressure it puts on your opponents, or the pressure that you feel because of that bid. That's something you can't really calculate with any formula or analysis. You're just kind of there with the person that's right next to you.
Right, and you have to sort of be in the moment. I recall a hand where I was playing Gavin's team, the Fireman team, very potent team many years ago.
That's my favorite team, Geoff, by the way. So be careful, be careful what you're about to say.
They've handed me some of my worst thrashings ever, so they're not my favorite team. So we're playing a match against them, and it's the second half of the match. We're on the Diamond team. This was a few years back, and we're down a lot. And it's the beginning of the 3rd quarter, and I'm playing. I think I'm playing I'm holding Cran's cards, so I'm probably playing Joel and Johnny. And
so this is a particularly long set. Is what you're talking about.
So we have 16 boards in this set, and then 16 more boards. Yes, and it's going to take some time. So I'm in first seat. I'm in favorable vulnerability, and I have King, Queen, 10, 5th of clubs and out. And it's not my style normally to preempt at the 3 level on 5 card suits, but we got to pick up some ground. And I figure, well, let's try and sort of jam them. So I open 3 clubs, and I'm thinking, well, this will generate something, and it generates nothing. They get to a normal contract, achieve a normal result, and we complete the set. And I asked my teammates, how'd the bidding go on this hand? They said, well, Cran opened 3 clubs.
Achieving par and amazing.
He's up 50 against me. 3 clubs. Okay, here we go.
That's amazing, and it's not surprising to me at all. Obviously, I've lived through it, and I was even talking to Warren about this like a few tournaments ago, where we were up a lot at the half, and again they were opening 10 counts. I'm like, I know you open 10 counts, that's who you are, but at some point, you're up by enough that you don't need the variances. You can take a step back, but no.
Well, the interesting part of this is, I hate to keep bringing it back to poker, but at the highest levels of bridge, there's a lot of poker going on, because isn't it at least somewhat helpful, whether or not this works out, it's in your range, right? It's in their psyche that this is something you're capable of.
That, and also, like, if you were to not, let's say you stop opening 10 counts, well, now you create a negative inference problem for your partner, right? If you put 10-point hands in your pass range that weren't there before, now your partner's thinking, well, we can't have slam because the 10 points that I'm thinking of he would have opened with,
Right.
you know, suddenly you miss a slam. So you know, it can cut both ways.
Yeah, because there's
So,
three
you know,
people
just
you're
go,
dealing with there.
Spoken like a guy who opens a lot of 10 counts.
I open my share. I mean,
there is some question in there about precision. There were a few of those. And that's what you got. You and your partner play precision, right, Geoff? Or you play a version of it? Okay. Yeah. And do you find that you prefer to play with only precision players when you're not playing with Eric, or do you just
you know, it cuts both ways. I like, as a system, I like playing precision because for me, it just sort of spiced up the game. 20 years ago when we switched, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Game had become a little boring. And so you invent a whole new set of problems and a whole new set of solutions.
to torture
Hands that
yourself
used to
for
be
another
difficult.
20 years?
Well, I mean, you know, anything that sort of spices up the game for you a bit is gonna, you know, make you want to play more, make you play harder, make you more interested. So that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah.
But I'm happy enough playing either way. Like, I actually play a lot of bridge with Bobby Levin. We play regularly at night with Nick Nickel and Ralph Katz.
Cool.
So I've been playing a Levin style of, say, 2/1, and it's helped me to learn that a lot better. And it's fun too. It's different though. You know,
and
a lot of hands where I was opening a club, I'm opening a suit, and a lot of hands where, you know, I have what would normally be trivial decisions in a club system, they're difficult in a natural system.
Yeah.
And then other ways it works as well, because, you know, like my diamond opening bid with Bobby is a natural bid. Same with the clubs. So there are different advantages and disadvantages. It's all fun.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, it's the same game.
It's fun to change once in a while too, though, I would guess. Like, you just get in a rut
Yeah.
at some point with one thing or the other. So it's nice to have a little variety. So how are we doing over there, Gavin? I don't see them loading up any of the matches yet.
It doesn't seem like they've started yet, so we're gonna wait another minute or two before we.
Can we maybe start talking about some of the hands again? Would they have started playing yet, or they're just not even seated yet? Basically, is what we're looking at.
I don't know. All I know is that when we started, I started getting aggressive text messages like, "What are you doing? Somebody might see the hands." I thought it was all understood that this was our plan, and
Geoff,
that we were going to go.
This was Gavin's plan. I'm just saying, Geoff. Just.
I gotta say, I find it surprising that they would send you hands prior to the start of play and expect you not to look at them.
Well, no, they knew we were going to look at them.
I don't think they knew we were going to actually pre-chat about them a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes a massive difference for the ViewGraph commentators to have the hands in advance rather than to be trying to solve it up, because it is so difficult to look at a double dummy problem and really stop and take your time to evaluate single dummy problems. You know, we're
a little ahead of the game. What this really is perfect for is a delayed broadcast. You know, because then we can spend the half hour that we're delayed, or however long that is, going over the hands that we're about to see, and no one's the wiser, right? That's the win there.
Yeah, I suppose if they were doing like a 30-minute hold on the broadcast and a 20-minute hold on the hands, then you'd have 10 minutes to get up to speed before they showed up, which would be perfectly good.
Yeah, and then just having us discuss them prior. I mean, I understand. I don't think too many of them would be watching this, to be honest, if any. So we don't think we've caused any damage yet. Geoff, someone was asking.
No, I would think that for the most part, the players just don't know.
When did you start playing bridge? How old were you? And who did you play in the juniors and kind of work up that way with that crew, and who were some of your partners back in the day?
So I learned in high school from a biology teacher. I was maybe 14, 15 years old was when I sort of started to learn. My father had played bridge around the house for many years, and I had watched but never learned or paid attention. I did say the extent of my education in bridge prior to that was learning to count points and then forgetting it again. But yeah, we started playing in early high school, and we started, sort of running duplicates among call it the misfit kids that I ran with, and we all sort of enjoyed the game. And then somebody stumbled upon duplicate bridge clubs and thought, well, this is just genius. Now we don't have to lose because we're card racked by our opponents. And we started visiting the clubs, and I was immediately hooked. So by the end of high school, I was spending tons of time at the local duplicates. And by my second year of university, we realized that further education would be pointless. I was just playing bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents at some point gave me a choice between playing piano and playing bridge, basically. And I chose bridge.
I would have loved that choice. I had to practice piano every day for, years and years.
Yeah. My grades were suffering too much to do both, apparently. Not really, but I was just a total bridge addict at some point when I was a kid.
It gets in your blood. Yeah.
You said second year of university was when you realized that it was done, or was that because that was exactly my number. That was where I was.
So for me, the way it worked was I moved away from Toronto to university for my first year, and I spent the whole year just playing cards with my friends and barely attending classes. And then after a year, my parents realized, well, we can't leave him on his own because he will never go to class. So they brought me back to Toronto, and I enrolled in York University for my second year. And they figured they'd be able to keep an eye on me and crack the whip, get me going to class. But it turns out that when I got up and left the house in the morning, I went to the bridge club instead of the school and played rubber bridge until, bedtime, and came home and did it all again. So it was a good plan, and they realized, nope, that was not the solution. So we'll send him into the workforce and see how he likes that.
All right, we've got permission to bring up the hands again. They have started playing. We are going to choose to watch a featured match of one table. It's going to be Mextroth and Rodwell, and at the other table it'll be Zia. We actually saw Zia make an overcall.
Let's see the auction on this one, Gavin. What did they choose to do on board one? It was a diamond, a spade, 3 diamonds, which was mixed, I'm guessing. Let's see.
Yeah, that's what I'm sure it is.
There's mixed, past 5 diamonds.
Yeah, not having the spade raise made it a lot more difficult. You kind of couldn't fill out your partner's hand. If East had raised spades, it would have. Slam becomes way more visible, or like. And what about at the other table? If you click, can you see the?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me bring Geoff in here as well.
So you can actually just you can click that.
We want Geoff in the broadcast though, Gavin.
Yeah, we do. That is true.
We cannot see Geoff right now, and that is honestly, our viewers have said, if we can't see Geoff, this is a loss. So we want to make sure to please our viewers here. And now we want to see the other table, right? There we go. All right, so they're already on to board number 2.
Right. So yeah, sorry.
No, go, Gavin, please.
Let's talk about what we're looking at right now. For sure, yeah. This is what we kind of anticipated, that North would make a lead directing double there of Stamen. Yeah. Just want to talk about that because I see people making lead directing doubles on way too many club suits. That there's a lot of risk involved with that lead directing double, not just the opponent's playing 2 clubs doubled or redoubled, but more importantly, when you're telling your partner what to lead, you're overruling them. Basically, you're going to get them to lead from suits that they might not have beforehand. It's very unilateral. So you got to be careful. You really want to have the suit, like this is a perfect example of one when you have Ace King Jack 10 fifth, that you want your partner to lead a club. Yeah, that is when you definitely should be making a lead directing double of 2 clubs. What happened in their auction here, I don't know if you can bring back up the auction there by clicking 3 spades. Almost all pairs have agreements here about when they double, you have 2 options. You have 2 ways to respond to Stamen. You can pass, or you can immediately respond. It looks like Mextroth and Rodwell. You can click on the explanation there for pass. It looks like they probably play pass, shows a club stopper. There you go. So they play pass, shows a club stopper, which is the backwards from how I play it. But I don't know what's common. I usually play the other way around, that if you respond to Stamen, it promises a club stopper, and that when you pass, when you don't, that way you can get your partner to play the hand if they are the ones with the club stopper. Geoff, what do you play with your partner? This way or the other way?
Well, I'm not sure that they.
Well, the other
I
table
think
they play the other way.
pass differently than us, but I don't know that they play the direct bids different. So their pass showed no major and a club stopper. It's possible they still play that 2 of a major shows a club stopper and the majors.
Oh.
I'm not sure. See,
Gotcha.
I'd say one of the things that people don't realize is that these guys have been bidding at the highest level for 35 years. They
Exactly.
really were the creators of brilliant bidding methods. So I think that, a lot of people won't realize that a lot of the innovations in bidding came from them. So I'm going to guess that 30 years ago, Rodwell said, well, we should figure out a way to differentiate between hands that have a club stopper and don't have a club stopper. And he came up with this.
This is what they came up with, yeah.
Exactly. And they just decided that, well, this is how we've played it for forever. Whether there's something better or not doesn't really matter. Let's just go with what we know.
Yeah.
And that's how they do it. There are so many situations that they innovated. So
right, that you guys probably use in your system as well, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I played a lot of bridge with Mextroth and Rodwell over the years. They have
Gotcha.
been 2 of my most frequent partners. So, a lot of the stuff that they do, I got from them.
Very cool.
Yeah, they've been a great influence on me.
All right, comes board number 3.
They're a generation after the other great innovators of the last 50 years. I think Benito Garazzo was one who just came up with a ton of the tools that are commonly played, first of all in Italy, but also all of that we play. Was another one who did a lot of innovative system. But Rodwell is a system nut, and I don't know how much of it's both of them and how much of it's just Rodwell. Does Mech come up with some systems too, or is it more? Rodwell gets a lot of the credit for a lot of the stuff.
Well, and here we have the perfect opening bid here for Geoff. This is our precision 2 club opener right here by the West Point.
Yeah,
as opposed to
a classic.
Let's see what are they playing at the other table? More of a standard system, Gavin? Do you know?
Let's check out who they are.
Let's see what's going on.
So East West at our Andrew McIntosh and Thomas Paskey. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Paskey.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to check out their convention card.
Let's watch this auction first, and then we'll circle back to it. So this is just how you guys show like long clubs. And do you always have unbalanced hands, like shortness here? Or?
I mean, we always have 6 clubs or more, but you don't always have an unbalanced hand. Like some hands with 6 clubs would qualify for a 1 no trump opening.
Gotcha.
So if you had that, of course, you don't have to open 2 clubs. Like if you had a 2-3, 2-6, say no trumpy looking 13, 14 point hand, you'd probably open a no trump showing 14 to 16.
Gotcha.
But this is a hand that has to be opened with 2 clubs. There's no system alternative to that.
And it's nice that South had Hartford at some point if it.
See, sometimes you bury those. That's one of the negatives of having to open at the 2 level. When your partner has a marginal hand, they may not. Like, for example, you see that East has a balanced 6 count with 5 spades.
Right.
If their balanced 6 count included 5 hearts, we'd have lost them.
Understood.
We'd have missed a nice, easy 4 hearts hand.
Yeah.
Be playing in 2 clubs or be defending. Here you might be defending 2 diamonds.
So this
you saw
auction for precision.
Cozy balance.
You see, and Rodwell led a trump here against. Can you put show played cards back on there?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was, he has 6 high card points. His partner's got an opening hand. Pretty understandable to lead a trump. Sometimes you're anxious to lead your partner's suit, but he's not going to get a rough in clubs. He knows his partner's got 6 of them, so I definitely understand leading a trump. He might have, as opposed to leading from like 3 little hearts and guessing a major suit to lead from. Trump seems like a pretty practical lead.
Yeah, when you have a relatively weak hand that includes 1 entry, you don't want to use it too soon because there might be something later in the hand that you discover you really want to do. And if you've used the ace right away, then you're out of options. You only get to do that one thing and you have to do it right away and get it right. So I would lead a heart. I would lead a diamond, a heart, or a spade with that hand and just, hope that I know what to do by the time I get in with the ace of clubs.
All right.
A really, really good point.
And let's see, the swing on this here was 3 spades in the West. Looks
Yeah,
like North-South gained 6 on this one.
the other table they managed to stop in 2 spades, which kind of makes sense because you know, in this auction, Rodwell decided to bump it up to 3 spades. He figured his partner's got an invitational hand with 5 spades, and he had a minimum in high cards, but he had a pretty good hand. He had that nice doubleton heart and 3-card support, so he could easily see for making, like the potential of 4 making if partner. The problem with that is you don't have. I mean, well, look, 3 queens or 2 queens. The 2 queens may or may not be great cards, but I don't know. It's pretty reasonable to raise spades.
I mean, it is and it isn't. I see that Rodwell's hand, I'd say on pure value, looks like a maximum given the 14 to 16 range. And if the queen of clubs has become more valuable than it was when you opened a no trump, because hopefully the ace and king are on your right, then this hand looks more like a 16-point hand with the 5-card suit, the 3-card fit, and the queen behind the ace king. But your partner bid Stayman not knowing how their club values would look, right? They might have 3 little clubs like you see here. And if that was the case and they have a marginal invitation, which it turns out they do, then 3 spades is going to be in serious peril. And as it was, the contract itself was quite poor, and you know, it duly went down. Yep. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised with Rodwell's hand. If you bid 3 spades and the bidding ended and you went down, you can't be shocked. So I think that the risk of going minus in 3 versus the likelihood of making 4 if your partner could bid it, I think he misjudged this hand.
Gotcha. And look at this in the non-precision auction. It went a club past a spade past 2 clubs. So they get to the same exact position as far as opening 2 clubs would be. And then it basically went the same. It went double and they got to play 2 diamonds with the north-south cards. So that's how they solved that at number 3. So,
would you have thought about overcalling a 4-card suit there with that north hand? We talk quite a bit about 4-card overcalls.
I don't think I would.
King, queen, jack, 10, 4th of diamonds, and no.
I think the suit's good enough. I just don't feel the need to get involved there. I mean, I think that Zia did well to reopen. It's possible that as a passed hand, he could have doubled 1 spade as well and taken less risk about getting involved.
You're white against red. I definitely would have been in there with a take out double the first time round.
Yeah, I think being the freedom of being a passed hand and being able to double with the singleton club here, it takes a little bit of the risk out of having to balance, because some of the time when you balance, they get you.
And Gavin, this is a bid that is right after your heart here. On board number 4, it goes a heart by east, double by south, which is pretty reasonable with the cards we're looking at both these spots. And they play transfers after a major suit double, so 2 diamonds is just a good heart raise here.
They have a very good heart raise, given that they're a passed hand. Yeah, 2 aces, the doubleton. It's right up there on a limit raise. It should be treated like a limit raise. The beauty of the system is that you can do that at the 2 level and not overcommit to the 3 level with only 3-card support. That's a big deal. And if you didn't have that system, I would still probably recommend redoubling rather than I wouldn't like jumping to 2 no trump with only 3-card support. 2 no trump should promise 4. You're getting yourself to the 3 level. So if my choice is, if I didn't play transfers after a major double, would be either to redouble and planning on bidding 2 hearts to show a maximum passed hand with 3-card support, or to treat it as a 6 to 9. But I feel like this is worth more than a simple raise with the doubleton club and the good diamond spots. I mean, only bad feature is that the jack of clubs is part of the doubleton.
And now it looks like West is deciding, are they going to continue here? Taking a little bit of time. Maxroth, would you guys bid?
Pretty aggressive balance over there, but it's he knows the opponents have stopped in 2 hearts, and
I think he judged well, and I think that the man with 3 little spades might deem this worth 1 little push. Like both 2 spades and 3 hearts look like very promising contracts.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to play 2 spades in the north there, and now
yeah, and should be looks like it'll be a maker.
think the key for that north hand.
Let's see what happens with that, with this one. One heart double again, probably two diamonds, same spot, right?
These guys play a pretty straightforward system. It's possible they don't play transfers here. I would imagine they don't. Just looking at their convention
Really?
card.
Isn't
Okay,
it pretty
they do.
standard, expert standard these days?
Yeah, it is, but their convention card looks like it's not
Gotcha.
not quite up to, unless the card that they have on bridge base is not their actual card.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because so yeah, and the big thing here is North didn't have to bid directly two spades. They had the opportunity to pass first, right? If they had a better hand, they could bid two spades freely, but they passed, and now when it comes to ours pass back, it's pass back. It's easier to kind of settle in two spades. And now you see that West very quickly passed. They're just kind of obliging the law or following the law of total tricks. They don't have that ninth trump. They don't have, but like you said, Geoff, you can see with your points. Yeah, that three little spades is definitely not good for defense, and sounds like it might be good for offense.
Right, but I think that West also reasonably was uncertain that his partner didn't have three spades. If your partner's balanced hand included a third spade, you would really not be happy playing at the three level. Right. And so the way the auction timed out and the layout of the cards, sort of favors defending on a hand where offense might have been a better decision.
Yeah.
It looks like three hearts would probably fail, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Lose a heart, a club, a couple of diamonds, and a spade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So there wasn't, once they made the well-judged decision to compete in spades, which I think both tables, both tables did smart things.
The pass is really great initially. Like, you don't have to make this decision right away, and when it's upon you again, you're blessed with all the information of the opponent's choices, right? The limit raise and then the pass, and now you're a little on more firm ground, I guess. Sorry,
well, that, and if you were to bid two spades in the direct seat, your partner would quite reasonably think that you have something. And here, when you wait and then sort of slide back into the bidding with two spades, then you've warned them.
Always this.
I did not have enough to bid spades first.
This was not good enough the first time, but it's okay here. Gavin, sorry, buddy. What's up?
No. It was actually a trick earlier. Had West gone up with the ace of diamonds, it looked like they had the potential of playing ace jack of clubs and being able to negotiate a spade rough, but it's still wasn't going to be in.
Why don't we take a look ahead at boards 5 and 6 if we can, Gavin? You can get those ready on the table. Maybe we can flash forward a little bit while these guys are finishing up board 4.
Sure. I've got
board
5. It's one of the hands that Geoff was talking about a little bit about a 4 spade opener that you might see that people open 4 spades with. It's not my style at all. You'll bring it up and
you'll see it in just a second, guys. There it is. We had to hide these from the potential competitors.
Not at this vulnerability anyway. And no, it's not going to get that far. I didn't realize it was. I can't see who the dealer is.
You're going to open a diamond on this one, Gavin.
Yeah.
Look on the screen there. Yep. The board's right above your head. There you go.
I got it.
Oh, sorry. You're doing what I usually do. You're actually looking at multiple screens. It stinks, doesn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah. It's a lot going on for sure. So here this auction is going to start at diamond. You can see East doesn't really have a bid there. South is going to have a normal 1 spade response. Now West, is it your style to poke in with 2 hearts in a hand like this here, Geoff? No, to get the lead.
I don't really know, but I mean, this is a not vol against vol. You can take some liberties that you would not take at other vulnerabilities.
Yeah, it actually, East-West looks like they could find a decent sacrifice here, but on an actual hand, though, I think North-South is going to struggle to make 4 spades. But if they, I think the 5-1 diamonds is going to really hurt 4 spades. But 4 spades is going to be the most likely final contract. If they don't bid,
the question is going to be really, what does West choose to do? Because now it's going to go 2 clubs probably by the North player. Does that sound right?
Yeah, depending on their style for sure. But yeah, 2 clubs pass, and then South with this hand is very likely to just blast 4 spades over 2 clubs. Gotcha. They're a little too strong to invite.
What's your style, both of you, though, with this West hand? Are you going to bid or not? White, red.
I think it's close. I think it's pretty close. I want to get the heart lead.
Right?
Yeah. It looks like they're good.
Not bid usually, but
It looks like they're going to rebid one no trump is one problem because you have 4 spades. So if they're going to get the game, the most likely game is going to be 3 no trump, I would think, with the West End. That's why I would be inclined to come in there. But
consider it, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're not quite on it yet. What do you want to see? How? Well, let's see. Is Mexstroth on this one yet? It looks like they are just finishing board 4 as well. So the teams are just about to get to bid this hand.
Yeah, this is what I expect the auction will go. If they don't come in with 2 hearts, I think this is how the auction will go. West is gonna have a pretty interesting lead problem. Whether they lead their singleton diamond or cash a heart first. Yeah. My guess is we'll see them cash a heart.
And is this just going to be 4 spades and out? There it is. All right, 1 table down.
So this is one instance where you might not lead. You often leading a singleton. Your singleton is the right approach, but you do have really good trumps. You have queen 9 8/4 of trumps
behind the 4 spade bidder.
But that said, with that 9 of spades has a lot of potential for a promotion. You're sitting over the person who's bid 1 spade and then 4 spades. So you might still want to lead your singleton diamond so that if partner has an entry, that you might get partner to lead a diamond back and promote your 9 of trumps. So you could see you could see that. So, but they've led the ace of hearts. Yep. What do you think? What do you think you would have led there, Geoff?
I think I would have led the ace of hearts. I think that if your partner has a doubleton heart and something even as small as the 5 or 7 of spades, then there's a decent chance that you can make your queen 9 of spades into 2 tricks. Yeah. But in this case, when you see there's no future in hearts, the singleton diamond switch is automatic, and now partner's ace of clubs is going to allow them to promote your 9 of spades for the setting trick. So you see here that declare has hearts to get rid of and a potential trump loser. They can't hope to make the contract simply by drawing trumps, because then they'll have the hearts to lose. So they have to try and set up the clubs, and now they can't really afford to rough with anything. So West is simply going to take the setting trick and trumps. It's a very unlucky distribution that allows them to get a rough and still have a trump winner.
Right.
In order for this to be the case, you need all 4 trumps to have been together with the singleton diamond.
And now we're going to get to see if anyone does have, if Mexstroth
see what Mexstroth
desire to get into this auction.
Overcall. Think Mex's going to overcall or no?
I'm going to say yes. I feel like he is the guy who does
the aggressor. Yeah.
By
the way, congrats on the spin gold. I don't think we congratulated you properly on your most recent success, Geoff.
Yeah, my team had a very good run there. That was a lot of fun.
That's awesome to watch.
Well, let's see if he does it or not. It's close. It's hard to say for me.
It'll make for a much more interesting auction, that is for sure.
It will, for sure, yeah. And it'll actually work out bad.
Ooh, here we go. Let's dance, folks. Now we're in there with 2 hearts. East has got to be sitting there going, oh, hello.
Well, right now we have a decision for North.
Right.
Yeah. It's a hand that's worth trying to get to the 3 level, but a lot of people play conventions that sort of chop up the hands that they bid at the 3 level.
And they just choose the 3 diamond bid, and now East
is
like,
not bringing clubs in the game is interesting. I mean, you could easily see. I mean, you could make a club slam here and kind of just you've lost the club suit. It's
sure
pretty unilateral.
You can rest in a part score in diamonds and be cold down and be cold for a slamming club.
Right.
And now look at East's problem. He has a fantastic defensive hand against diamonds, but he has a huge supporting hand against
hearts. And he knows partner has very few in
spades.
diamonds, and he's void in spades. It's like ridiculous.
He sort of knows that there's a 4 spade bid coming here.
Yeah.
Right.
So what he does here
because he knows North has 2 or fewer spades, right?
Right.
Likely,
so the support double inference that pretty much all expert pairs seem to play now limits North's spade holding to at most 2.
Yeah.
So that means that unless his partner has like a 5-card spade suit, which it's not impossible, the opponents have a real spade fit.
Okay, East just gets in there with the.
No, it's a pretty straightforward 4 spade bid by South, and now I don't see how Well, it'll be, maybe they might play
You don't see how
double. Like
East
if
can get.
I don't see how he's not gonna leave 4 spades undoubled. Like it doesn't seem like they might play double as like I want a bid or something like that, just in case partner has good spades. Sure. But I can't imagine he just sells out to 4 spades after he's such a good playing hand.
It certainly feels like it's going 4 spades, pass, and now Rodwell's going to have a slow decision.
Yeah, or is he going to double or bid? Is the
it's
question.
weird.
I don't see him doubling. His hand is not really defensive. I mean, he has a void in trumps. His diamonds aren't winners. All he has is the ace of clubs and a partner who overcalled not vulnerable.
Right.
I mean, and we see that Mextroth could overcall on nothing. He did. I mean, how would you feel if it was 3 little spades and queen 4th of clubs? If you start hammering 4 spades, your partner has like an ace and a king and a singleton, and he's like, "Okay, let's go." And it's like, what? They made 6.
Yeah.
Oh, you doubled them. I had an ace. They made 6.
Oops. Hey, what's the weather like out there, Geoff? Is it is our friend Joe out there with you playing some golf?
I played golf with Joe yesterday, and I'll be seeing him in a.
But it's at a pretty good speed, and I catch it in stride and look at him. I say, "Don't try that again, Joe." And we both said, "I wish one of us was recording this. It was the best. It'll never happen again." But it was a proud moment for me.
I'm waiting for that experience with a golf ball.
I'm guessing those weren't your exact words.
I used a couple of colorful metaphors that Bobby might introduce us to when he arrives at some point.
Yeah. Speaking of which, he should be here within any minute. He's going to be showing up at 2:15. We're going to get joined by Bobby Levin. And we were joking that Rob's YouTube channel might get a couple demerit points for Bobby's little session here.
Demerit points. He's going to be blacklisted for life.
Yeah.
Well, what did we have to ask him something? We were talking about Stevie earlier and about something that he will usually do.
That 1 spade overcall versus the takeout double.
Yeah. We can go back and show him board 1 or just give it to him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, we'll show him.
And you were right, Geoff. Not only with well, we don't know what he's going to do, but he's definitely taking a while here to make this.
Sure.
It's not an easy one.
I mean,
which is good. This is the table we'll watch.
He could have
probably either bid 5 hearts the first time. I mean, you can sort of anticipate this. So I think that 5 hearts right away, or 3 spades. Right.
Yeah, right. He could cue bid to let partner know that, hey, I'm probably going to be wanting to bid over four hearts. Maybe you can help me in the decision. Take ownership of the hand a little bit, and
that way maybe they double for penalty.
Mech would have doubled exactly. Mech would have known like, hey, looking at this hand, you've got a good hand over there. I definitely want to be defending with Queen 9/8 4th of trumps.
Right, and maybe even a bid of 4 diamonds would have taken away the level. You know, you don't get that double of 3 spades that you might risk by bidding 3 spades.
Yeah.
And you tell your partner you have a good hand, interested in keeping the bidding going. Your partner should know that you won't have more than 4 hearts because you already didn't bid 1 heart not vulnerable.
Very good point.
Any good hand with 5 hearts would be bidding a heart.
All right. So here they are.
I mean, this hand it's not like they're getting slaughtered here.
It's gonna swing to some degree though, right? They have to lose a diamond, a couple of clubs, and something else, right? They're not.
Well, look at the defensive problem for North. He lays down a diamond, and he's not going to get a signal because everybody has exactly 1 diamond, and so he's not going to know about the location of the Queen of Clubs. I mean, he could switch to a trump. He could try and tap the dummy with a spade.
It looks like tapping the dummy is a little bit somewhat urgent. I mean,
if South has the Queen of Clubs, you're okay playing clubs. If South doesn't have the Queen of Clubs, then a club is catastrophic.
And just recognize what Geoff's saying, folks. Yeah, Geoff is saying that because North knows that South and West have no choice to what they've played to this trick, there's nothing that we're gleaning from this information, right? This is
right. Normally, when you lead like a suit that you have the ace king of and there's no real future, you get a signal from your partner. Like the situation is most commonly dummy has a singleton, they're in a suit contract, you lay down the ace, and now you see, okay, well, I'm not going to put my king on the table because the dummy's going to trump it.
Yeah.
And these situations, you get a suit preference signal a lot of the time from your partner that helps guide you to what to do next. But here, there is no signaling.
Yep.
People have to play their only card in the suit.
They would
So
love
here we're seeing North is in the tank because he doesn't know how the defense should proceed.
Yep.
He knows his partner has lots of spades. He knows his partner has some values by virtue of the fact that they ultimately doubled 5 hearts. Although even that doesn't necessarily show a lot. He's like, Rodwell took so long to bid 5 hearts that it sort of indicates that it's a troubled decision.
Sure.
I wonder, what is the most that they can take if you continue with trump?
If he plays a trump, what will Declare's options be at that point?
It looks like I mean, they could draw 3 rounds of trumps and just give up a diamond.
And that's 10 tricks.
And then just pitch 3
That's
cards.
for down 1. Yeah. So there's no real. I don't see any route to 11. You're always going to lose if you don't give up a diamond. You're going to lose 2 clubs for sure. There's those 2 clubs are going nowhere. So that's for sure. So if they play a trump, it's just going to go ace of hearts, king of hearts, heart to the queen, and run the queen of diamonds and right 5 hearts in your hand, a 6-1 in dummy, 3 diamonds is and a club. And if you play back a club they'll probably do the same thing of leading the queen of diamonds
and pitching a club.
And they're gonna put he did play a club, but it looks like they're gonna win the ace of clubs and play the queen of diamonds from the board
and then pitch a club.
I mean, well, they might rough.
I see,
but I mean, it feels like you might just duck this trick. I don't know that there's any particular advantage to winning this. That like if you duck this, you preserve a late entry to the dummy in clubs, or you give yourself the opportunity for them to continue clubs. It looks like you can probably elope your way, just cross rough up to the same 10 tricks.
You mean?
Yeah, because North is going to keep following the diamonds and
right, and obviously West is going to be leading spades towards that heart position, so that'll be solved as well.
Right, and the trump layout it doesn't look like North roughing with the 10 of trumps is going to gain them a winner. So it looks like this is just going to be 1 down pretty much no matter what happens, and that's going to be 5 imps.
And North's lead is a Rusino situation, right, guys? They're playing like they play the lower of touching honors.
I would guess this is 0 or 2 higher in the middle of the hand.
9s and 10s or something.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people in the middle of the hand lead when they lead the jack or the 10 or the 9 or the 10 or the 9 rather.
The 10 or the 9, yeah, they're doing that. Got it.
Are there 0 or 2 situation? Yeah.
The jack would deny.
It's somewhat less common and less popular to play it on opening lead. I know from my personal experience, I found that when I play that coded 9s and 10s on opening lead, I feel like I'm helping the opponents more than I'm helping my partner.
Gotcha.
But then so that's why I tend to just try to play it with only after in the middle of the hand. In the middle of the hand, it can be very, very useful.
I'd say it seems like. Oh, he's
looks like he's going.
He's going with the line that you
draw 3 rounds of trump, and
he's just claiming down 1.
He's hoping to claim.
Yeah, he can't claim no matter what. He's always got 2 losers. He can never make it, right?
Yeah, pulling 2 trumps or 3 trumps was never going to.
If trumps were 2-2, he could have made it, right?
Is that he's just always got those 2 club losers are just going everywhere. Nowhere.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that if North was 3-2, 6-2, then he could have ducked
the club and made it.
Club and had a chance to make it.
Bobby has just arrived. So I'm going to bring him in. I don't know if you can squeeze all of us.
No, bring him in. This is perfect. I can definitely squeeze Bobby in.
I'm going to say hello and then goodbye.
Okay. So, you're going to be here after my glowing introduction of your bridge history, Geoff. Now I have to do Bobby's and one of the very few people in the world that will dwarf your national title championships. Bobby, this is just there's not enough room on my paper here. Bobby, your first championship. I will make you feel old before you start. Was before you won the World Championships and the Vanderbilt before I was born, and then after that you continued on to win 32 national championships. and I counted it as 2 World Pairs Championships because one of them, the book stays second, but 2 World Pairs Championships and the Bermuda Bowl. So an unbelievable record. We're joined by normally I'm giving my expert analysis. Here I get to sit back and let these guys do their thing. Bobby, what's up? Thank you for coming. You're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, you're there, Bobby. I got you.
I'm there. Well, I can start out by telling you I played with Geoff the last 2 nights, and he played about 10 times better than me. So I would say that makes us even.
Nice. He was telling us you guys have a pretty regular game with 4 of you guys out there. So it sounds like it would be fun to kibitz that once in a while.
Yeah, especially when you hear the chit chat. It's pretty funny sometimes.
Definitely not a family game.
We need to ask you a question. We know, I think we know what Stevie would have done with this hand, but maybe if we can get to this table
You
over
hold
here.
10 9 8 fifth, queen jack 9 fourth, singleton and ace queen third, and it goes pass a diamond to you, nobody vault.
It's the West hand here.
I would bid a spade. I don't like it, but I would do it.
Feels like the least of evils.
Yeah,
I mean, I would love it to go like, you know, something, a no trump on my left, pass, and I could back in showing majors. I'd prefer that. But if it's a partial battle, I want to get in there now. We could have a cold game. So
I mean, you definitely want to be able to get to 3 or 4 spades, in my opinion.
yeah, I think so too.
So it's interesting. So your partner, Stevie, said that this is one of the rare circumstances with 5-4 in the majors that he would make a takeout double and not bid a spade. Opposite of past hand partner.
I think that's a very reasonable action.
Nice.
Wow, that's the nicest thing I've ever heard you say about a bid that Stevie would make.
I thought it was going to be Stevie's just an idiot.
It might be the first time. It might be the first time I've ever thought it.
All right, so what do we have going on here on board 6, Gavin?
Yeah, board 6 is a pretty mundane hand. They're gonna, East has a balanced 18 count. They're gonna plan. They start by opening their long minor, and then their plan is to jump rebid 2-no trump. It looks like obviously Schmetcalf and Rodwell are playing a strong club. But so the nice thing about playing a strong club with these 18-19 balanced hands is you get to open a club and then rebid 1-no trump, showing 17 to 19, and not have to get all the way to 2. This is going to be more of a struggle if you end up stuck in 2-no trump to battle away for 8 tricks. I think you'd probably do it. That 9 of spades is a very, very helpful card in dummy as a set. You got a third spade stopper, sorry. But they ended up in 3 hearts here.
Ooh, Bobby, could you do me a favor? Turn off your YouTube volume.
All right, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. I'm going to get ready to go golf.
Geoff, thank you so much for joining us, buddy.
My pleasure. Good seeing you guys. Stay well, and I'll see you around.
Yeah, and take care of Joe on the golf course tomorrow. Make sure you get
today.
All right, good.
How do I turn off the YouTube volume?
Were you watching on before you got? No, you're good now.
No, I wasn't. No, I was not watching before. I just zoomed in.
Yeah. Just try to have everything else on mute, and you'll be good. All right.
Everything else.
So, Bobby, can you tell us when you started to play bridge? And who you played with kind of before you got to play with your current partner, the love of your life, Stevie Weinstein?
Well, I go all the way back to when I was 13. I played with a guy. He was a famous New York player. His name was Abe Goldstein.
Okay.
And there was a tournament in New York City they had every year called the Abe Goldstein Trophy. And I played at his club. And he said to me, I have played for 20 years with the top players in New York City, and I've never cracked the top 10. You are the worst player in my club. I think I should try to play with you, and maybe my luck will change. So he practices with me on a Wednesday night, And at some point, he just throws his cards in my face and says, "I take it back. I can't possibly play with you."
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure I remember like holding like the 12th and 13th diamonds so that their club was good or something like that.
Yeah, I've been there.
So I played so bad, I didn't blame him. I wasn't even like upset. I was like, well, who could blame you?
You're right.
And so then he calls me up on Thursday night. It's a Friday men's pairs in New York City, which is a tough event.
Yeah.
And I had never even seen a tournament. You know, I had no idea what a tournament looked like. I was a duplicate player. I couldn't believe how many people were there. But when he called me Thursday night and said, "I changed my mind. I'm a masochist. Let's play," I thought, well, I'll miss school. How bad could this be? You know, so he yells at me the whole session. It's better than being in school.
Really
So I go and I play with him, and I play unbelievably well. I still have the convention card, and I did some like really good things. I played against Mike Moss, who,
oh my goodness,
that was my first time. And he opened 3 hearts, and I overcalled 3-0 with the stiff king of hearts. And he, for no reason, ducked his ace queen jack 7 the trick one.
He trusted you too much.
Right. And I remember after the hand, he wanted to beat me up or something. But we won. So we won.
Yeah.
We actually won, which was amazing, because I can tell you that I was 13, people were begging me to play with them for the next 2 years because I won this big event. And I would say 9 out of 10 times, they all said the same thing to me after I played with them. They said, "Well, you may have won that men's pair, but your shit still smells awful." It was like they all had the same line. You know,
it's like hazing or something. And then wasn't like 5 years later you won a world championship or something? You were young when you won your first world championship.
Oh yeah. So what happened was I moved to Florida.
Good choice. I did that recently.
When I was about 14 and a half. And I played with a guy named David Strasberg. David Strasberg won the Spingold on the precision team, and they immediately threw him off the team after that event. So like, do you know what kind of person you have to be to win a national with a bunch of young guys and have them say, "He's out.
I've had enough of you"?
He was like the most, just yell at you, and so he would yell at me for anything, but he did teach me so much about competitive bidding and things I had never thought about. Balancing with shortness aggressively, whether you're in the hot seat or the pass out seat, looking at things that just had never occurred to me,
Things
I was
you didn't
still
even
like,
know to think about, basically. Like
never occurred to me. I was still like proud of myself that I knew to hold up when I had ace third ups at too little. It took me about 10 tries till I realized this has got to be right to be ducking these things. So that was my first like semi-serious partner.
How did you even become a bridge player after all this abuse that you were
Well, the abuse was great. I mean, the abuse. I played with some guy in New York before I moved. He was a black belt. And there was some hand where it went 1-0 and double, and he redoubled. And I didn't know that was a run, so I passed. Yeah. And he put down his dummy and he said to me, "When the round is over, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, I promise." He was a lunatic. So anyway, David Strasberg I played with for a couple of years. And I would go Friday night to the team games in Florida, and they had, the Florida's best every Friday night. They had Billy Seaman, Edith Kemp, Russ Arnold, a lot of really good time old players. And if you got there early enough, you'd see Bob Sharp like setting up all the boards so he'd play a few hands well before the night was over. They had all kinds of like characters there. Yeah. So I played enough against. I remember playing with my girlfriend at the time, who had no idea how to play. She was, I was like 17 and she was, like 15, and she never played. And I played with a friend of mine and his 87-year-old grandmother in like the Friday night team game. And we play against Billy Seaman, Russ Arnold, and
Good players.
They had Jim Beery, Richard Pavlicek. They had won the Grand Nationals that year, so they were like the best team in Florida. And so we played them for the win the last match, and we crushed them.
Nice.
And then I think Billy, realized that I had a little talent, so I started to play with him. That's Michael's dad. And I played with him for about 1.5 years, and eventually got onto a professional team with him and Russ and Bud Reinhold and Edith Kemp. And I went from Billy to playing with Russ for a couple of years, and that's when we won the Vanderbilt and the Bermuda Bowl.
Nice. That's a heck of a run.
And then I went and played after Russ. I sort of lost some interest in bridge because I was trading in Chicago, living there. And I sort of just did nationals for a lot of years, and I played with Peter Weichsel on the Becca Rubin team.
And then you met Stevie at some point through trading, right? You both kind of went that route.
No,
Right?
I mean, I knew Stevie from bridge, not that well, but I knew him. And at some point when I realized I could not watch Weichsel finger fuck one more card, I just had to play with somebody else. So I decided, well, Stevie's a young guy. He was on the Amex when I was on the Amex.
Got it.
And I thought I could, sort of make a clone of myself and get him to think how I think. And of course, think like he thinks also.
Right. Bring in a little bit of both.
Yeah. And I mean, I can tell you, I remember the first night he went to Jill's Lake House in Pennsylvania.
I know.
And we basically, right. And we just sat at the kitchen table, like at 4 a.m. still, what do you like to play? What do you, let's figure out what we each like to play. And if somebody hates what the other guy does,
we'll listen to Bobby.
We just won't do it.
Well, my favorite thing about that house actually is the just absolute volumes of old bridge worlds you have at that, at that lake house. Every bridge world in existence, basically.
That's right.
There.
That's right.
All right, so why don't we take a look at what's going on there, Bridge? Have you been paying attention to this, Gavin? What's up?
I have. I've been watching. I've been watching. I got to spend a week with these hands, so now I'm seeing these hands play out. I'm thinking, you spend time watching and thinking how it's going to go. So here they've reached 3 hearts, and the defense has not started well with their ace of diamonds. In 3 hearts, East-West has three potential club losers to go with the ace of diamonds and the spade. And also they have to solve the heart suit. So they have 6 possible losers. I'm hearing an echo of myself.
They got it right.
But so you shifted to a club there. Yeah, okay. But they needed to get those clubs, because if they didn't get those clubs right away, you can see that the 3rd round of diamonds can discard a club from dummy. Now it's just going to be a matter of, after they lose 3 clubs and the diamond, the spade's going nowhere. So now it's just a question of, do they play this heart suit correctly to go down 1? And they will play it correctly. A lot of our viewers don't know what restricted choice is, but this heart suit, normally we're taught 8 ever, 9 never, right? And so usually with a 9-card fit, you just be banging down the ace king. But when you play the ace in this spot and North drops the queen or the jack, it's actually twice as likely that that's a singleton than it's queen jack doubleton. The basic premise is that when you have a singleton honor, you are always playing that honor. So when the queen is played, you're always when the queen is played, you're always playing the queen, right? It's a singleton. When you have queen jack doubleton, you figure randomly half the time you're going to play the queen and half the time you play the jack. So when you see the queen, it is only half of the time that you have queen jack doubleton you would have played the queen, but 100% of the time you have a singleton queen, you'd play the queen. So yes, you know that it's more likely to finesse the 2nd round. So we'll watch, and they'll get this right.
Well, the jack of diamonds is also a wake-up card to
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, there's more also.
Well, it's a wake-up.
Sure.
It's a wake-up in that South rates to be short in diamonds and North long, making the restricted choice even more of a favorite, because there are a lot more empty slots in South's hand to have heart length than North.
Great. Very cool.
Not likely that South would be like throwing the jack of diamonds back from 4 or 5 to the jack. It's just.
It turns out the bidding actually had enough information that
I didn't see the bidding.
Yeah, right.
Here, I
So
can
they
toss
actually
that
had
up
bid
for
2
you.
diamonds.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it makes
There
it
it
even
is.
more likely to
Yeah.
get it right. But the suit in a vacuum, you're supposed to play correctly anyway. You see, he sees the singleton queen drop. Now he's going to cross to dummies ace of spades. You can click that auction out of the way for sure.
Yeah, there
And
it
now
is.
just here comes the heart finesse.
I
We're down
mean,
one.
the old days, Mech would run the 9 of hearts when it was right. He was hot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many years have you guys been on the same team with Mac Stroth Rodwell?
Well, we're no longer, but we
Yes,
were. I think it was 7 years-ish, something like that. 7.
You guys are the same age?
He's a little bit older than me, maybe a year and a half.
You look younger either way, Bobby.
Well, I take very good care of myself.
How's the tennis game? I'm grinding up to a level that's
I
appropriate.
pulled my back. I pulled my back a few weeks ago, so I've been like laying off. But Sunday, I got Joe Boo coming over, spotting me the doubles alley. So
This guy is out there playing all sorts of sports. So yeah, you're spotting him the doubles alley.
Who would have thought this like guy that went to the strip club every night of his life is now a jock? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, there is some sport in that sometimes, depending on how fast the.
I know, but being a jock is so much cheaper. Kidding?
Well, I know you'll put a beating on him, but just let him know that I'm waiting for him to get back to New York so I can put a little beating on him as well.
There will be no mercy, I promise you.
I don't expect there will be. All right, so they're just playing 2 spades in the West here. Looks like it was just a pretty straightforward auction there, Gav. Not a ton happening. Do you want to look ahead to any of these other hands?
Well, the other
last 3 or
table,
4?
I mean, the next board is going to be pretty interesting, but they're already halfway through at the other table, so it'll be easier if we just watch it as it happens here.
Well, do we want to take a sneak preview of board 9? Because there's some interesting major suit raise structure we can maybe look at.
Yeah, sure. Let me bring up. You can bring it to the teacher's
Is
table.
this the final match of the alt?
It's one of them. We picked to watch this match because we know their system. We know Mektroth and Rodwell's system, and Zia was at the other table, so we thought it'd be a pretty interesting match. It is the last match, but this match is not so eventful. I don't think that they're playing for the event or anything, but we did choose this match as so. This is the hand they're about to play,
right back.
and it's at the other table they opened a weak bid with that, which is a little bit sick with that north hand.
Wow.
Yeah, they played some kind of multi that they were able to show a weak bid. But I think normally one system I thought we might see is it might go a spade pass. I was thinking, how would you bid this in? Let's say your partner bid 4 clubs splinter, and you played. I don't know if you play this with Stevie, but if you play 2 tiered splinters where 4 clubs would show like 13 to 15. Do you do that with Steve?
Yes. Yes.
So let's say that your partner did splinter 4 clubs and they're showing a higher point range. So what do you play, 13 to 16? Is that the range?
Our range would be a good 13 to 16 because we play 3. We'd actually play 3 tier splinters.
Okay.
Like 9 to 12 and 13 to 16 and
more?
good 17.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
and more.
Okay. So but this hand is pretty straightforward. Would be in your middle range, right? It's 13.
Yes.
So your auction would start a spade 4 clubs. So that East hand's interesting opposite that singleton club because you don't have that many losers, right? And you know that you start piecing together partners' high cards over there. If partners showed 13 high cards, you don't have many losers left, right? So how do you think your auction would go after 4 clubs?
Well, I think that first of all we're playing with a 30-point deck, right? I mean, we're basically outside the club suit is where we're thinking. And I have ace, queen, ace in the 3 suits that we're thinking about. So it seems impossible to me that my partner could make this bid with not a heart control. So that would be my first thought. My second thought would be, it might be critical what the opening lead is. So I would just bid Blackwood and make sure we're not off 2 key cards and let the opening leader figure out what to do. If I made the obvious 4 diamond bid, I feel like it's pushing him towards leading a heart. And the last thing I want to do is have my partner bid 4 hearts and have it go double. I'd be sick.
Yeah, so it turns out that 6 spades is actually not an incredible contract.
Absolutely.
Partner had the worst hand that really, given that we know that they have 13 points, partner has pretty much the worst collection of 13 points possible. The Jack of Diamonds is a terrible card use of points. The Queen of Hearts is a terrible use of points. Those both could be, if either one of those were more useful cards. If just the King, Queen, 5 of Diamonds, obviously it would have been an easy slam. On this hand, it's very questionable whether they're going to make it. Now, at the in the closed room, I think they might be up to board 9.
Actually,
I don't want to.
They are, and it's right to where we want it to be. Actually, it's a spade 4 clubs.
And there it shows 11 to 13. That's a different thing than 13 to 16. When you know your partner has at least 13 with that east hand, you kind of just can't help but drive to slam.
Would you make this bid if that was the range there with just 13? Like, isn't it too good? Slightly.
I know that you guys, Bobby, you're very strict with your points in these things. That's what I know. Stevie was. That's one thing he always told me, is that you're not allowed really to go beyond the high cards. Right?
Well, you can't lie about high cards because you know your partner is going to always be thinking 30-point deck. You know, what's the least my partner can have in a 30-point deck, and it's really going to hurt him in evaluation when you're stretching on high cards.
Gotcha.
Of course, there are good high cards and bad high cards.
Well, you're just thinking about partner in this spot to just make sure they have a more straightforward decision when it gets to them, right? That's why you're not straight from that as an agreement. Yeah, that's great.
It's sort of the same thing if you play like Drury, and you show a shortness bid opposite, let's say, a 3rd seat spade opener. Gotcha. Because otherwise your partner can never evaluate his hand if he doesn't know if you have 7 points in a singleton or 10 points in a singleton. So the way we think is we go a spade 2-0, saying I have a singleton, but I have 10 real points, working points. And if I have 7 in a singleton, I just Drury.
Right, and then you can kind of get through it that way,
because I'm reevaluating what my hand is worth, but I'm not, otherwise he's never going to know.
Oh, and this is a very good one for the advancing player. Guys, explain last train to a garden variety player. You see this.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just basically, West has shown 11 to 13 points and a singleton club, and so when East bids 4 diamonds looking for slam, West only has 1 bid available to them that is below 4 spades. So last train is just basically using the last bid available below your trump suit to say I have a good hand. I'm still interested in slam, and it's kind of complicated to play. And I know a lot of people struggle with it. Like, how do you know if partner has a control in that suit? Like particularly in this spot where East kind of really wants to know their partner has a heart control with that doubleton heart. So it's like it seems like a strange place to be playing last train, but I guess they're just,
or maybe it's just
11 to 13 is a wide enough range that. What did you say? Sorry.
Sorry, maybe they just misalerted it, possibly, but it seems weird that they would shut it down from there, right? They just bid 4 spades.
No, well, what happened was it went 4 hearts, and now North doubled.
Oh, I missed that part of it.
Okay, for the lead, and now East passed it back around to kind of hear what was going on, and now Mextroth knew his hand was not, like, he was not in good shape when he's getting a heart lead through the ace queen. That's not good. That's not good news.
Well, this is what 4-0 would have avoided, right, Bobby? What you were talking about basically is the 4 diamond bid just pigeonholes this heart lead.
Right, revealing and telling this guy what to lead is so discounted in bidding.
It is different though. When I presented Bobby with the problem, I was giving him a 13 to 16 range splinters. So he was thinking partner has 13, at least 13. All right, I'm just blasting.
Gotcha. Here
it's
with 11,
different.
right.
Like it's a different problem. Rodwell was facing a problem 11 to 13. So he really needed his partner to have a good maximum splinter to make sense.
Oh,
yeah, totally.
What did they do at the other table in this one? They play 6?
So the other table, they're already onto the next hand, so you won't be able to see it on this page. But they did play 6 after North preempted 2 diamonds. You'd have to go to the results screen.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, there you go. And
There it is.
so they opened 2 diamonds multi. It's kind of sick, but first chair white red. It's probably within their repertoire to open 2 diamonds with a ridiculously
Which
weak hand
multi
like
is
that.
just like a weak 2-bid somewhere in their hand, correct, Gavin? For people that are, or
Right.
something else. But
One, they're saying like I would open 2 hearts or 2 spades. That's what
Right.
that they play 2 diamonds as.
Got
And I'm guessing that they actually just split their ranges up. That they play that they could still open 2 of a major, but they instead when they
This is
have
the
these
weak
really weak ones,
variety
they
or
open the
something.
2 diamonds. And you can see that from there, it just kind of goes normally. It went 2 spade overcall. South is interesting. Zia was just decided to bid 3 clubs to get a lead. He's just kind of messing around. Also, he was willing to raise his partner to 3 of a major, and he's just although he's not on lead, so I don't really know what he's thinking when he bids 3 clubs here. I guess he was just trying to mess with them. He's just having fun, and now Wes Q-bid in support of spades, and so
he's kind of drove it a little further.
Well, he
Wes
cooperated. He
complied.
said, "Oh, you have a Q-bid. I'm interested in slam. I have a diamond control," and they bid 4 diamonds. And Wes was like, "Okay, let's just do it." Basically, that's how it went. And then what the reason slam made was they led the ace of clubs. Slam is makeable on this hand with that, but it's a very awkward hand with the heart finesse offside. Oops.
Sorry, guys. Gavin, I took you off that because I changed tables. Sorry.
No problem.
There you go, buddy.
So, but now you need to click up a board.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
You know the screens we're looking at here. There we go.
All right. So what happened was the ace of clubs lead made slam very, very simple, but and also the fact that the weak 2-bid in hearts was sitting over the ace queen third. If it had just gone blackwood slam was it was going to be a very difficult make with the king of hearts offside. The only real way to make slam on this hand was going to be to rough out that queen third of diamonds. You can see that diamond queen, it only takes 1 round to rough it out. You play the ace of diamonds, you go over to dummy, and you rough 1 diamond, and then you can enjoy that whole diamond suit. It was a little bit lucky, and it's not clear that the line of play would have led to that happening, but the ace of clubs just kind of
it made it a little bit easier for the whole shebang there.
Kind of
Nice.
let them find out about the queen of diamonds in the process of playing the hand.
All right, let's jump back over to where they are still just going to play 4 spades here. It shouldn't take them that long.
I don't think you can make this with a heart.
I think you can. You can
mean
with because the trumps are 2-2.
So what are you going to do?
Well, you'd win ace of hearts. You could play diamond of the ace. And draw 2 rounds of trumps. If you can see all 4 hands,
Go
you
ahead.
can make it.
Keep playing.
So you're going to get 4 diamond tricks, right?
Oh, you're going to get 4. You're right. 4. Right.
Okay.
Sure. I miscounted.
Yeah.
So big. I don't know if you guys are interested, but
we're interested.
Okay. I mean, a big thing that Steve and I fought about all the time in our partnership was he learned a lot of bridge from Larry Cohn. So Larry Cohn taught him the law of total tricks, which probably he didn't read the last. I'm guessing he didn't read the last few chapters of that book. He taught him last train, and he basically taught him a bidding style where a lot of his bids didn't mean a thing. Okay. They were like B kind of meaningless bids. And it drove me crazy because he kept making bids that I felt were meaningless instead of making a meaningful bid. And fought about it for years. And finally, I said, I can't deal with this anymore. I can't stand playing bridge like this, where every time you make a bid, I have no idea what it is because you tell me it could be 10 different things. So in frustration, he said, well, you get all the white cell shit out of my notes and I'll stop playing the Larry Cohn stuff. And that's what we did.
You did? You excised the white cell Larry Cohn?
I was happy to put white cell to death. And
what's an example of a white cell thing that got cut?
I mean, it's been years, so I mean, we've literally kept one. I'll tell you, we kept one white cell bid, and he hates it to this day. So I'll tell you that. It's when you open a minor and rebid a no trump, and your partner bids 2 no trump, which is, since you play check back, it's a relay to 3 clubs, and now you show your distribution, with a 5th of your partner's minor and your major, or your, clubs and diamonds.
5, 4, 3, 1 hands.
Your 2-suiters. So.
Yeah, and your 5-5, your 5, 4, 3, 1, and showing all those shapes. To me, that's like the easiest thing in the world because it's just steps: 5-4 lower, 5-4 higher. And Weinstein, being Weinstein, claimed that he had to read this for like 2 hours before every tournament. It really annoyed him.
He can't remember what the order is. Like, you bid your 4-card major first.
Well, part of it is also he wants Bobby to feel a little bit guilty about this as well. Probably a small percentage of that.
That's not part of it. That's all of it. That's all of it.
Exactly. All this work I'm doing to remember this for you.
He was missing Larry Cohn. They were roommates for a long time.
I did not know this.
Yeah, so he missed the guy.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Right. They shared a studio apartment together.
New York would have been a fun time with you guys there. Gavin, you want to look at board 11? Is that what you're saying?
Board 11's a pretty. It'll be an interesting hand. It's funny. We might see them bid a slam off and cashing ace king, and we might see them make it. Let's
take a look and come back to maybe see what they do on board 10 and as we're talking about this. But this is board 11 with South as the dealer.
South is the dealer. So this is a 5-4 hand that it's kind of interesting. You've got 14, so they might choose to open 1-no trump with this 5-4-2-2, or they might open a heart. I don't know what they did at the other table. I'll tell you what Zia did just for a reference. So Zia opened a heart with this, which is kind of straightforward and normal to open when you're 5-4 to not open 1-no trump. Usually you'd only be opening 1-no when you're 5-3-3-2, but you could see upgrading this hand. But certainly hand is worth 15 to 17. The question is whether you want to treat it as a 2-suiter or treat it like a balance.
Let me ask you this: if you flop the heart suit with the club suit, would you open a no trump?
Yeah. If you're 2-2-4-5, the big thing about this hand is you have a nice easy rebid available. You can open a heart and rebid 2 diamonds. But if your suits are backwards, if you have 4 diamonds and 5 clubs, then you might as well open it 1-no because you're going to be distorting your hand anyway by opening a minor. So it's if they had opened 1-no, you could easily see North with 18 highs just kind of blasting slam and them having to find. You can see that you're going to make slam. You have 5 hearts and 4 spades is 9 tricks and 3 clubs is 12. You have 12 top tricks if they don't take their diamonds. So you could easily see West needing to lead a diamond from king fit. That's not the easiest thing if you had opened a no trump.
But if you open a heart and rebid 2 diamonds over, let's say your partner bids a spade or 2 clubs, you're going to bid 2 diamonds probably, and he's never going to lead a diamond on that either. Right,
but the thing is that once you agree hearts, you might have a control bidding auction where you bypass diamonds, and you might just avoid slam. The bad slam. You could see that happening. I will say, first,
it's gonna go hard 2 clubs.
But you're supposed to bid 2 clubs.
Yeah.
This is probably maybe the most important thing that'll come up for this whole set.
Everyone needs to understand for the viewers here. This is,
when you start by bidding 1 spade on a hand like this, look at what happens. Just let's actually undo this auction and see what happens. If you did respond to spade, this is why you don't respond to spade. South rebids 2 diamonds, and now North. The only way to set a game force now over 2 diamonds is to bid 3 clubs 4th suit forcing. Oops, I'm sorry, I got to undo there.
Yeah.
And now South has a bid to make. What is South supposed to bid? South has a stopper in the last suit. There's a really good chance South is going to bid 3-no trump now over 3 clubs.
Totally stuck for
you haven't had a chance to agree hearts in this auction. North has not had a chance to agree hearts. So that's why it's so important with a hand like this to creep back. And you have 2 goals with that North hand, right? You want to set the game force and you want to establish your heart fit. Yes, if partner has 4 spades, you might actually prefer to play in your 4-4 spade fit. It's possible, but your goal when bidding this hand is establishing the game force, establishing the heart fit. And by bidding a spade, you run the risk of this happening. Even if partner had rebid 2 hearts, you're going to have a difficult time setting hearts as trumps and creating
way too many problems when you're not in a game force.
So instead, we can, if I don't break the software here with too many undos, I'm going to go back.
If we haven't broken it yet, it ain't breaking today.
I'm doing it. So the better way to go about this, you can see, is it goes 2 clubs pass, 2 diamonds, and now you could bid 2 hearts or 3 hearts. You accomplish your goal. I think with this. important to have good agreements about what you do over 2 hearts. It's normal to, when you bid 2 hearts, for South's third bid to describe their distribution. And if you just jump to 3 hearts, it starts a control bidding auction, which I think that might be just how North would bid the hand. It's just bid 3 hearts. They don't really care what their partner's distribution is so much with that North hand. And so it's going to go pass, and now they might have a chance to avoid the slam by having some kind of auction like this where they bypass diamonds and identify that they're off the ace king of diamonds.
Yeah, exactly. But if they don't, they may in fact get to a slam that is unbeatable unless they come up with this diamond lead from that king 10 fifth. It's a very bizarre spot.
Yeah, Bobby, would you mind trying to turn the volume down on your computer, just like a little notch?
Or just mute
no,
the
volume
YouTube
down.
broadcast.
There's no YouTube broadcast on his thing. He's just
Oh,
in
it's
Zoom.
just ours.
I don't know. There's no YouTube.
Turn your volume down on your computer. Just make
just
us as quiet as you possibly can while you can still hear us, and then there won't be such an echo. The echo is
How's
gone.
that?
It's a million times
magic.
better at
It's
speaking
perfect.
and not hearing my voice. Thank you. So that's what I expect.
No one wants to
That's
hear
the
your
way
voice,
to
Gavin, even you.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to the bridge. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll get to see whether they avoided slam at Zia's table. We can take a look at their auction.
Well, also, can we just look at the left-hand opponent's hand on this one here, just to start? I would guess they opened 2-0 at both tables here. It was king, queen, fifth of clubs.
19
king,
highs.
Yeah, 19 high with like king and 1, queen and 1. Is that, I would guess that is what would be happening at both tables. But
yeah, 5-card suit, 19 points. You won the lead coming into your hand. Everything about that hand. It's almost exactly the hand we were just talking about, where you said like we were 4-5 in the minors and 2-2.
Yeah, there we go. And let's take a peek at the results here, and we can see what's happening at the other table with that board. And there it is. They were in 5 hearts. They shut it down there. And this is their auction, right? 1 heart. It's kind of obscured a little bit by the knob there, but it's a heart, 2 clubs. Looks like 2-0, 3 hearts. 2-0 is some sort of like prescribed bid for them or something.
I guess so. He chose. This might just be Zia being Zia, that he decided that he was just going to bid 2-0 and suppress his diamond suit, treat his hand like a balanced minimum. And then partner supported hearts, and now they had that control bidding auction that you can see that they isolated that they did not have diamonds controlled, and that's how they were able to stop in 5 hearts. Seems like brute force might just get you to a making slam here if you just don't go through all the science. That it's going to be very tough to find that
terrible slam, but a making slam. Yes.
You do have 30. You do have 32 points between you.
2 top tricks that you could lose, right? Doesn't that just make it a terrible slam in general?
Obviously, yeah.
All right, so let's get back. They're almost done with board 10 here. Actually, I guess they're not quite almost done. I think they're done at the other table. Yeah.
Yeah, they're finished playing, and you can see this last hand's amazing. Well, this one's weird. Actually, now that I see their auction, it's funny that I would have thought. So this is a convention that's commonly played over week 2 bids, jumping to 4 of a minor, like 2 hearts, 4 clubs. People play that as a strong 2-suited hand, right? Showing clubs and the other major, in this case spades. I normally play that it's forcing with my partner. I've actually never seen Leaping Michaels be passed. Do you play it's forcing or
no?
Bobby, you play it's non-forcing?
No, I absolutely do not, because I think that there's a very wide range of hands. We're not so hell-bent on it being a terrific hand, especially if you're white against red. You really want to get your shape in and get your save going.
But do you play? Do you play regular Michaels also? Can you bid 2 hearts, 3 hearts Michaels?
No, we play that's asking for a stopper for 3-0.
Okay.
Which is
maybe we shouldn't, but we do.
I mean, I don't play that with any of my partners. I don't play the 2 hearts, 3 hearts asking for a stopper anymore. I mean, I learned that way, but I found that having the 2 ranges for Michaels would be. I've never had that hand come up.
Well, that's how you can play 1 forcing. Well, would you play 1 forcing and 1 non-forcing then, Gavin, in the future with that? If you have both Michaels bids available?
Yeah, I would bid 3 hearts is my way that I could still get out, in 4 of a minor, and 4 clubs is my forcing one, my big one.
I understand.
Well, that's not going to come up so much either. I find.
How would you bid the north hand, Bobby, on this one?
It's really hard because you're obviously too good for 4 clubs, and double is such a horrible way to start this hand.
Yeah.
So it's really a difficult bid. I mean, I do think 4 clubs is a gruesome underbid, the way I think about 4 clubs. So I think I would double, as sickening as it is.
Gotcha.
I think I would just have to, the way I play.
And why do you hate double so much? Because you're just expecting it to be at an unmanageable level on the way back.
Well, I would love to be playing like Gavin, that I'm showing clubs and spades and I'm making a forcing bid. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
But I've found over the years that 2 hearts, 3 hearts comes up much more for me than somebody else, because I love to abuse that bid and do it on questionable hands, because it creates havoc for the opponents.
That can maybe even be psychish in some spots where.
Well, I'm not waiting for 6 solid ace and 1 ace. And
right. You're not waiting for 9 rippers
you know,
opposite stopper, right?
I mean, I've done it on some sick hands, and it just makes their life brutal sometimes.
And that's the biggest thing that like the guys in the junior house always talk about is the putting the maximum amount of pressure on the opponents that you can stand to put on them. You know, it makes their jobs way more difficult, and yours.
Yeah, it also helps your partner that, you know, he knows you have a long minor if they bid game and we're not vulnerable. You know, he judges to save more than if I just bid 3 of my minor or something.
Got it. And here we are on board 11.
I'm very aggressive like that bid.
Out of you and Stevie, like who would each of you say the wild man was? Would you both agree it's one person? Or?
I would say we're both more aggressive in different ways.
I see.
But as far as the wild man, it's him by a mile.
He's the poker player. Weinstein's the poker player.
Absolutely.
My favorite hand that I saw you guys play at a relatively close spot was Dallas, where he tricked you and the opponents into thinking he had first round control in diamonds and got you to bid a grand slam. That was the difference in the match. It was a pretty amazing spot. Convinced the opponents not to actually take their trick, essentially. All right, here's that auction, Gavin. 3 hearts.
Yeah, so you see, this says it's stronger than 2. That's not the way I play with my partners. I just think it's a different message that you're conveying when you bid
guys,
3
I got to leave you. Thanks.
All right,
Bobby,
thank you very much for joining us, Bobby.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
It's a pleasure to have you. Take
Good
care,
weekend.
bud. You too, bud.
Bye.
Thank you for joining.
Yes.
All right, that was awesome. Getting to talk to Geoff and Bobby. You're welcome, audience.
Yeah, it's pretty cool having them out, having them in here. They're both very keen to do it too. It was very nice of them both to show up. And all right, so here he just blasted. He's like, I don't care. That's interesting that he's just going with brute force. But
do they think they're up at this point? So they probably don't think they're down.
Yeah, he's just thinking, okay, my partner cooperated. That's all he thinks. He said, I got a strong hand. My partner cooperated.
Right.
And I'm just going to go to slam. That explanation is blocking the trouble spot.
Yeah,
here.
We'll get that out of there. And what Gavin is saying there is cooperating. When South bids 3 spades, they're saying, hey, I hear that you have, a little bit extra. I'm interested in exploring something higher than game at this point, right? I'm not shutting this down. And North, with their massive extra value, says, okay, that's enough for me to want to go. And now we're just going to see if
we're in
West,
slam. It says just can Mech find a diamond lead from the king? It's hard to believe that he will. Honestly, I'm somewhat expecting a spade lead. And the reason I say that is it sounded like the way North bid the hand. It sounded like he okay. Well, that makes it even less likely that they're going to get a diamond lead. The ace of diamonds just seems like bizarre. I mean, I guess the auction is, I will say that they didn't go through the trouble of control bidding. So it is possible a partner has the king of diamonds, but I don't know. It's weird to leave the ace of dummy suit. I
mean, it's a laydown for 12 tricks. It's just a question of, do they find a diamond from ace and 1 now? The side we weren't expecting, to be honest. We were expecting lefty to be.
I still think a spade lead is.
But isn't it more likely that ace of diamonds gets led from this side than the other? If it was 6 hearts, I don't know. Maybe it's equally likely. It's equally unlikely, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to lead that ace of diamonds. I'll be surprised. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about, well, Mexstroth didn't double 3 spades, but at the same time, Mexstroth was not expecting partner to be on lead. right? Because they had agreed hard, so it seemed like South was going to be declared. So Mexroth wouldn't have made a lead directing double of 3 spades.
So and which means that Eric doesn't have the negative inference here that he normally would, right?
Yeah, that partner didn't double the Q bid or the control bid. So now I'll say that with it's the way North bid the hand. It was like I needed a control in spades. I got a control in spades, and now I'm driving to slam. So it's like it sounds like North has like the queen something of spades.
Right.
Like they bid the hand, but okay, there he just let a passive heart. The 10 of hearts was an interesting one. Like it might have
trying to avoid giving up anything, right?
Yeah, but the 10 from 10 Doubleton, it might have been like if dummy had they knew they had the queen of trumps. They knew they had the queen of trumps.
They got the key. Yeah, 5 spades was their response.
Yeah, they showed the queen. So he knew that they had all the key cards and the queen of trumps. So he knew for sure heart wasn't blowing a trick.
And to be honest, for East here, this is an important concept to understand. Versus the 6 no trump slam, they're just really trying to find a lead that isn't going to blow anything, and that's what they chose to do. They chose to take a super passive route here in an effort to not give up tricks, and it turns out they just give them the contract. And now this goes from a beatdown to an absolute rout in the score.
Yeah, they're up 40 to 1 here. Or was it vulnerable? No, not vulnerable. So it'll be 11 imps.
They had a 13 imp shebang earlier with the vulnerable slam that.
All the slam hands, right? Like, is that where the imps were cost on this set?
It looks like 13 from the 1 slam, and there were some. We can look at the results maybe when they start.
Yeah, there were a couple little ones. That 4 spade 5 heart hand.
Exactly. The phantom sack basically that turned out to be a swing on that side, and then the earlier one where they were just in 2 spades and 3 spades basically.
Right.
About a 5 or 6 points.
There's still one more that we still have. The last board of this set is definitely an interesting hand there where we saw that leaping Michaels end them too low. And they actually were in 4 making 6 because it was a very lucky layout. They're playing this out. I have to admit, if I was playing in this match, I would yeah, exactly.
They're trying for a 13th, maybe they pitch a club or something, who knows, but they don't realize they're playing. I mean, they have to realize who they're playing against, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Rodwell is going to actually end up having to throw away his ace of diamonds on this hand to hold them to.
That's his. Why does Eric not merit a star on this? This must be an alt.
I'm guessing he's never requested it. Yeah. Weird. That is weird that he doesn't have a star. Bridge base, get on that if you're watching. You can't let him fly under the radar like this.
I have to. All right, there we go.
I will be
Chris
very impressed.
Asked a question earlier, Gavin, that maybe we can address here. Why does North kind of direct this towards 6-no and not 6 hearts? What are they afraid of here? Were they just protecting their diamond position?
It's just they look like they're going to take 12 tricks no matter what, and so like if there's a
random rough going on, they want to avoid it. Gotcha.
Yeah, what if the diamonds are 6-1 or something? It didn't look like 3-no trump, or sorry, it didn't look like you're going to take more tricks in a suit contract. Although if partner did have a singleton spade and 3 little clubs. And like the ace king of diamonds, you could easily see that hearts would be better. So I think that they just gambled here. I don't think that they had enough information to know for sure that they should have bid 6-no trump. In fact, I don't think I would have. I mean, I wouldn't have bid this.
I would have gone about it the way that the other table did with continuing a little bit of
making sure you're not off the cashing ace king.
Exactly. But they really are taking their time on this one. We see why this is the longer.
Well, it's hard for Rodwell. I don't think Rodwell is going to get this right either. Like, I feel like he can't. He's going to protect Jack third of clubs. I don't know what he's trying to figure out a way to beat this hand. This is why, there's a certain part of the game. I'm a big believer that you're not supposed to take forever on these over trick hands. Like, I think that the game is not fun when you force your opponent to take a long time thinking that you're going to make the hand, or like that their defense is going to affect the contract, but it's just for an over trick. I would rather give my opponents an imp on every hand than play the game at a pace that's Like it's just it's not.
I would be interested to see what the rest of like the expert world class field would say about
I think there's
this
two
one.
very, very different
There's camps.
schools of thought on it. And I honestly, I genuinely wish they would change the game to be no over tricks. I think the game would be a better game if they did not
Interesting.
allow
have
you to
be
make over
super
tricks.
precise
Yeah,
with your bidding.
just at imps, I mean, at match points, I understand over
That's
tricks
what it is
matters,
in
but
Money Bridge, right? It's just
at Money Bridge, you play no over tricks, and it's fun because then you know if you're still defending the hand that the contract is on the line.
It's
Just,
beatable.
it's just, yeah, like it's just a much better way. It's a much better way to play the game. I've always wanted that, even just have an event but it's hard because like even online you can't really do that because you'd have to reprogram the computers to not allow over tricks.
Look at
but
this one
live
here.
you could do.
So 2 hearts, they chose double. They did not make any sort of Michael's bid, and now it went 3 hearts pass. Now we'll see what they do. And so they're choosing the strong route. They're going to be 3 spades.
If they're too strong for 3 spades, the doubling and bidding 3 spades, I feel like they have too much play strength. I think we might see them double again and then bid 4 spades, but obviously doubling again risks partner jumping in diamonds. But I think that
hearts. That seems like a lot.
No, if they bid 4 spades, it's going to sound too much like a one-directional spade hand.
Yeah.
Like and they don't. If partner has a singleton spade, you're not going to do very well playing in spades. You're going to you make 7 clubs and you're going to be in 4 spades going down on a bad break kind of thing, or maybe not 7, but yeah. Yeah, I mean that's I see Yabba guy. That's kind of the idea. Undoubled over tricks not mattering would be a great.
Doubled over tricks should definitely still matter. Here they go. They're clipping off a double again, and let's see what partner does. They'll just bid like one of their bid 4 clubs faster, correct here? Like
I just think it would speed up. No over tricks would speed up the game. You could play more boards in a day because honestly, over tricks really, like especially on part score hands, like you're grinding out 30 points, 20 points. It's just so ridiculous. It's not fun. Honestly, I find that it takes away the fun from the game for me.
It changes the game. Like what you're saying is massive change to the game. Like I think a play clock, like a shot clock, would be interesting as well. A board clock, but a specific one. You know, like if you've taken over a minute here or something like that.
Sure, time in the game is good too, but I just think that so here's the problem with the clock, Rob, is the hand that we just saw. So Declare is just playing out his tricks. Who's the one doing the thinking?
I mean, that's
right.
That's the
person who thinks the contract is on the line when it isn't on the line. So it's not. It's much more fun if you're to me.
Honestly, I love the idea. I think it would be great. Honestly, I think it's a great way to teach the game and teach scoring as well, right? And now you have contracts that are more meaningful now as well. Like think about if you're thinking part scores and you don't get points for over tricks, you might choose to play 2 or 3 for an extra score if you need it at a certain point for some threshold, you know. So depending on how you're going to score something like that, it becomes even more interesting actually, and add some strategy to it.
So I just saw, I realized I still had the table open from Zia and Steve Garner afterwards. So it turns out that Zia thought that they played that 3. They did not play 3 hearts as asking for a stopper. Okay.
They thought they played normal Michaels.
They both know that they were on the same page that they played 3 hearts Michaels and that they played 4 clubs as Michaels. The difference is that Steve thought that 4 clubs was the big one,
like you were saying,
like the way I play that. I play that with everybody I play with. By the way,
gotcha.
I think that's somewhat standard.
I'll remember that.
I was interesting. I expected Bobby to just automatically say that he played the same thing. To be honest,
yeah, I noticed you were surprised when he said that.
I was surprised, but then I remember he is Bobby, and like that 2 hearts, 3 hearts asking for a stopper is from his 1970s era of bridge. So like I could see him holding on to that for a longer time than most people. I would not have said that to his face. He's gone now, and there's no chance he's coming back to watch the end.
He might be watching though, so
no chance.
But as this ends, it looks like it's just going to be. They're not going to make 4 spades here, right?
4 spades. They're gonna lose. Yeah, sure they are. They've lost 1 spade, 1 heart, and that's it. They'll make 5.
Queen of clubs. Yeah, sorry. They're gonna make a lot of tricks here. Well, here this was wonderful. I don't know how much real bridge we got to talk about, but honestly, the conversations we had and some of the bridge that we saw live was pretty great, Gavin. And talking to superstars like Geoff and Bobby made it all the better. And it looks like the North-South team here is just going to run away with this match. In fact, they're going to gain on this one as well, and it'll be
Yeah, and
40
another
something.
10 imps here for their efforts. So a blitz, I don't know what their blitz is, but 48 to 1 sounds like a blitz.
Resounding victory for the black team over Dukta, which is I don't know. I would say this might be a slight upset. Who knows?
Before we sign off, I do want to I do want to tell people about the next upcoming alt event. They are open to anybody to enter, and I can't recommend enough the idea that there's an event that you can play where you're playing against the best players in the world for 5 days in a row. There's nothing more educational than getting your butt kicked by the best. My whole bridge career, I've spent my life trying to play against the hardest in the hardest field I can. So the opposite of playing in the stratified pairs and whatever. So they're open to everybody. The next event, if you can bring up their website really quickly, is
right here.
In the middle of, now we got to go back to their homepage to find they actually have an ad right up there at the top. That the next event is in a week
August
and a half.
9th to the 12th.
It's open to anybody to play. You can have up to 10 people on your team because it's hard to commit to playing 3 sessions a day for 4 days. But you can play 10 people. Only 4 people have to play in a match. It's a really cheap entry fee. I mean, $300 for 4 days and a lot of bridge for, it might be euros. I'm sorry. Yeah, euros. There you go. And yeah, you can play. It's well worth it. Highly recommend it. And we. You get to play against everybody. So thank you. Thanks, Rob, for putting this broadcast together. I was telling somebody the other day that like what you do to get the fancy stuff happening, switching between the tables and doing all this stuff, it's ridiculously impressive. And
no, this was nothing for me. The second time's a charm, Gavin. You know how stressed I get before the broadcast, but once you start talking, it's all good. And this was just great, and we'll try to make it better the next time. What we're going to do, we're going to try to get it to where maybe we can have that delay in there at some point, and we can really grind out some of the hands before.
Yeah,
that's super helpful. Knowing what's
so
coming.
Much better.
We had about 30 minutes stolen from us at the beginning, unfortunately, that we couldn't get those hands in. But next time we'll just plan it out better, and we'll have that bit of information for you. Because I think what really helps this, Gavin, and I know you agree, is if we all kind of have some understanding of what's about to happen, and then when we see the real top level players make the decision, it's going to be more meaningful. We can get to see some variance in what they do as opposed to what we think would be right.
It was amazing to me even to see like that, how the difference in the opinion, like Bobby Mexroth overcalled, Hampson wouldn't. Bobby and Geoff did one spade
and
Stevie
doubles.
Yeah, you see that like even at the top level, there's no automatic bids. Like you can see there's variance. It's why it's hard. I will tell you from me, like when I was looking at the hands before the event started, it's hard to really predict what's going to happen on the boards because you see all the different actions. You're like, well, this could go this way. This could go this way. How and planning out even what to talk about when it comes up. It's hard to know which route to take.
And speaking just off of that as well, it's a lot, again, like not to beat a dead horse, but a lot like poker in that way, where your tendencies are different for each individual player, right? So some players would be overcalling in this spot and other players wouldn't. And you get to see kind of the difference in even the highest levels, where one player might be way more aggressive, like the 3 club opening bid with a 5-card club suit that Hampson was talking about is a class example. Like you're not expecting it to go that way, but this becomes an interesting proposition when you put not necessarily a wild man in there, but a person that is not afraid to let bids fly. Let's put it that way. All right.
Yeah.
Well, this was awesome. Thank you so much, Gavin. We'll see you guys for the next one, which is like you saw in a little bit of time there. And also don't forget to give these a shot, try them out, and we will see you the next time. And don't forget, if you hit subscribe on this channel, you will be notified when these things become live. And I think a lot of you joined that way today. So thank you for coming, and we will see you